You can study French for years and still freeze on the moment you need to speak. And this is not because you don't know enough vocabulary or because you don't know enough grammar, but because you almost never get a chance to practice in real situations. So, how can you practice? In this video, I'll show you a simple framework so you can practice French anytime you want, anywhere you want with ChatGPT or another AI, and with any scenario you need to. And I'm going to show you how, and then I'm going to show you a concrete example. Before we dive in, if you want to have something concrete to take away from this video, I'll add in the link below a resource I created, which is the framework guide on how to prompt to practice French. And there's some examples as well, so you can practice real scenario. That framework comprises 3 parts: who, what, and how. So who, you want to explain to the AI who you are and who it is supposed to be. So for example, you are a French learner at a beginner level and the AI is your French tutor. Then you want to say what. What do you want to practice? So you want to practice French. The more specific you are, the better the practice will be. Maybe you want to practice speaking. And if you want to practice speaking, you need to use the speaking mode, the voice mode with ChatGPT or another AI. And I have a video here on how to use voice mode so you can practice listening and speaking. But you might want to practice writing, or you might want to practice specific grammar exercises, specific vocabulary. And then there's the how. How do you want to practice? So if you want to practice writing, do you want to write an essay and that the tutor, AI, will correct? Do you want to practice a role play scenario where you act as someone in real life and the AI is answering back to you? So that would be using the voice mode, for example, but you could do it in writing as well if you want more time to think and just practice your vocabulary and response this way. And once you feel more confident, you could move to the voice mode to now practice the speaking. So there's many different ways you can practice and you need to explain how. In the how, you also need to explain how the practice will be delivered, how the what will be delivered. For example, for French practice, what kind of tone do you want to use? Is it formal? Is it friendly? Is it official? And this will dictate, of course, the type of communication, but also the type of words that you use. If you are formal, you need to use the vous. If you are less formal, you can use the tu. I have a video on that, on the difference between tu and vous. So let's now look at a specific example to see how this could look like. And again, I have created a resource that you can download where I explain this framework. You can see what to include in each part of the framework, in the who, what, and how. And in the resource, I also have many examples, and I'm going to give you one right now, so we'll go over it together. So if you would open ChatGPT or any other AI, let's do that now. Here I've opened ChatGPT and I've typed a prompt. So I've typed the who. I am a sales rep for a website builder company and I speak French at a B2 level. That's who I am. That's who I'm going to be in this role play. And then I say to the AI, you are a potential client at a French company and you only speak French. And then I go into the what. So what will I want to practice? I want to practice a sales call. So you see, I want to practice a real scenario in French. My goal is to develop confidence in anticipation of a real call. And then you explain how. How do you want to practice? Can you start a conversation like if we were in a real situation? And here you give some further instruction. Ask me to explain our company, services, pricing, and raise some objections. Ask one question at a time. That's important, otherwise the AI will ask you all of these questions at once. So you could add more constraints, you could add more instructions, explanation, but we'll start with that. And so the AI responded, so gave kind of a summary of what I asked. So yes, we will do a role play on a sales call and I'm going to ask one question at a time. And so it starts, the AI says, Bonjour, Société Durand et Fils, service marketing à l'appareil. So, hello, company Durand and Son, you've reached the marketing service. I'm listening to you, who are you, and why are you calling me? And so then you type your answer. So that's your chance to practice, first to try to understand what the AI is saying, and then to practice your written response. And then the conversation keeps going. You see, I responded in this case, and then the AI is asking something else. So it works pretty well. If you want to use the voice mode, you would go here, you click on here, and you would just speak. So you, instead of writing the prompt, you speak. And then you can have a verbal conversation. So that's really helpful to practice your speaking skills. Now there's some limits to this, obviously. First limit, you see the AI here was a bit rude in French, like the tone is a bit rude. Who are you? Why are you calling? That's the literal translation. It would be rude in English as well. So that's why you want to be precise in your prompt. Here I had not said I want a professional tone, and so this is what I got, something very direct, right? So it's not perfect, but it helps you practice. Especially when we talk about workplace French, oftentimes you don't have much chances to practice a real workplace scenario until you actually face that scenario. And so it's very helpful to have AI tools to be able to practice before you're faced with a situation where you have to speak or you have to engage in French. Maybe you don't feel confident. If you get a chance to practice beforehand, then that's very helpful. Of course, because we're talking about workplace, you have to be very careful as to what information you're inputting in the AI. You never want to put any private or confidential information, but as a practice of fictive scenario, it's great. I hope this video was helpful. As I said, I have a more comprehensive resource below that you can download with many scenarios you can practice from. I also have a series of video on practicing French with AI, so you can look at that and see how AI could help you in your French practice to go further. Merci et à bientôt sur French Ready.